You're watching Football Daily, and here's our worst international footballers 11. Goalkeeper, Walter Pengelbew. Every 4 years, the nations around the Pacific hold their own mini version of the Olympics, creatively named the Pacific Games. And in 2015, the football competition saw the Federated States of Micronesia, a tiny nation of 607 islands and 100,000 people, go for gold. In their first game, Micronesia went 30-0 down to the mighty Tahiti, but rallied and decided to save some face in the second fixture against Fiji. However, by half-time, they were 21-0 down, and manager Stan Foster made a tactical decision so bold it makes Pep Guardiola look weak. Foster replaced the goalkeeper Pengelbew with a midfielder, Dominic Gaddad, and remarkably, it kind of worked, with the Micronesians only conceding 17 in the second half. How bad does that make Pengelbew? Well, it might not have been entirely down to him, as in their final group game, Micronesia faced Vanuatu, ranked 200th in the world. They lost 46-0, taking their goal difference across the 3 games to an incredible minus 114. Defender, Ramiro Funes Mori. We were torn between picking Everton's Ramiro Funes Mori or his twin brother Rogelio, who plays as a striker and has won a single cap for Argentina. But Ramiro's 18 caps is far too respectable for a centre-back with little interest in defending and even less talent for it. By comparison, Villarreal's highly rated Matteo Masaccio has just 5 appearances for the Alba Celeste, whilst Ezequiel Garay has been out of the squad for 2 years. Funes Mori has lined up alongside some of the world's greatest players, and even reached a final at the Copa America, but his presence in the backline helps explain why Argentina never turned their outstanding attacking talent into major international silverware. But despite somehow lucking into a career better than the one he deserves, Funes Mori has had the balls to claim that he will look to move on from Everton if he can't get more regular game time. Maybe he should try the Championship. Defender, Jean-Alain Boumsong. It's always struck us as strange that Silva and Distin never received a call-up for the French national team, but it's even weirder when you consider that Sebastian Schillaci got 21 caps and Jean-Alain Boumsong somehow racked up 27. That's more appearances than the great Just Fontaine, who scored 30 goals in his 21 international games. Boumsong's career looks pretty decent on paper, with spells at Newcastle, Juventus and Lyon, but he actually spent just 1 year with the Magpies, who dropped £8 million on him, and he featured for Juve when they had dropped to Serie B. Boumsong was so bad that when Andre Villas-Boas was doing opposition research for Mourinho at Chelsea, he wrote, "Defence is highly inconsistent due to individual mistakes." Boumsong mainly. And yet somehow he was in the squad which reached the 2006 World Cup final, though he didn't play a single minute. Defender, Carlton Ramelow. Capped 46 times by Germany, Ramelow spent most of his career with Bayer Leverkusen, playing more than 400 times for the club. A tough defender, Ramelow could also fill in at the base of midfield, and reached the 2002 World Cup final with his country, where he played all 90 minutes. Ramelow makes our team not because he was terrible, but because of his horrific record of failure. The centre-back never won a trophy as a professional, finishing as a runner-up at the World Cup, a runner-up in the German Cup, a runner-up in the Champions League, and a 4-time runner-up in the Bundesliga. When the German eventually retired, he turned to music, releasing an album called Sing When You're Winning, but in true Ramelow fashion, he came second once again, as Robbie Williams had released an album with the same title just 5 years earlier. Midfielder, Javi Garcia. Whenever someone complains that Mikel Arteta never played for Spain or that Ander Herrera has just one call-up, the response is always that the Spanish midfield is simply too strong. But that doesn't explain how Man City reject Javi Garcia has twice worn the red shirt. A Real Madrid Academy graduate, Garcia was identified as rubbish after just 3 games for the club and sold to Osasuna. But he was inexplicably bought back a year later, before getting flogged on once again. Benfica, City and Zenit St. Petersburg followed, bringing Garcia 4 titles in 4 different countries, despite the skill set of a Spanish Joey Barton. With Portugal and Russia already on his CV, China seems the logical next step for Javi Garcia, where he can show off his talents alongside similarly gifted players like Paulinho and Stefan Mbia. So long as we never have to watch him again, I'm pretty happy. Midfielder, Carlton Palmer. An FD office favourite is up next. Yep, it's England's Carlton Palmer, who played 18 times for the Three Lions in 1992 and 1993. The lanky midfielder featured for 11 clubs in his career, from Leeds and Southampton all the way down to non-league side Stavely Miners' Welfare. Palmer was always in motion on the pitch, with Southampton boss Dave Jones saying Carlton covers every blade of grass, but only because his first touch is so crap. Even England boss Graham Taylor, who gave Palmer all of his caps by the way, said he isn't the best player in the world, but he can stop those who think they are. And greeting Palmer's one and only international goal with the question, what the fuck was he doing in the fucking box? After retirement, Palmer moved out to Dubai to teach PE, probably earning more now than he did in his entire footballing career. He also has his own footballing academy, just in case you want to become a cart horse like Carlton. Midfielder, Julian Faubert. The subject of one of the all-time freak transfers, Julian Faubert was an unremarkable winger/fullback who gained fame when he joined Real Madrid on loan from West Ham in 2009. The Irons had decided they could do without the utility man, but Real Madrid gave him an opportunity, which Faubert duly squandered. He missed training when he mistakenly thought he had a day off and fell asleep on the bench during a match at Villarreal. In fact, he made just 2 appearances for Los Blancos, though that's one more than he managed for France, for whom he played 1 game and scored 1 goal. When he didn't get called up again, Faubert shopped himself to Algeria, making the dodgy claim that having an Algerian wife qualified him to play for the country, and ended up turning out for Martinique, a French territory in the Caribbean, where he scored 5 in 6 games. Right mid, Hulk. Before you slam me too much, remember Patrick van Straten wrote this script. And okay, maybe he doesn't exist on the same planet of shitness as the rest of our 11, but Brazil's Hulk has been consistently overrated throughout his entire career. The big man boasts a decent turn of pace and a cannon of a left foot, but that's about it. He's basically the Brazilian Podolski. Despite this, he has an outrageous 47 caps for Brazil, more than Marcelo, and more than Antoine Griezmann or Eric Cantona for France. And though Hulk's numbers at Porto are always used to defend him, with 54 goals in 99 games, when you factor in European games too, he only managed 77 in 170 for the Dragons. Tired of playing real football, Hulk decided to have a 4-year rest in Russia, doing fuck all, before making an inevitable big money move to China. What a career, and the words of Patrick van Straten, what a fraud. Forward, Michael Ricketts. Next time an England fan whines about the national team, ask them if they'd swap Kane, Sturridge or Welbeck for Michael Ricketts, who earned a single cap for 3 Lions back in 2002. The big forward had scored 12 in the league, and somehow, apparently this merited him becoming Bolton Wanderers' first England international in 40 years, and against no less of an opponent than the Netherlands as well. Ricketts started in a 3-man attack, alongside Darius Vassell and Emil Heskey, whilst the Dutch boasted Mark Overmars, Patrick Kluivert and Ruud van Nistelrooy. Somehow, yes somehow, England escaped with a draw, but Ricketts was garbage, getting replaced at half-time by Kevin Phillips. But it is hard to feel too sorry for Ricketts, as in 2011 he was sentenced to community service after punching and headbutting his girlfriend. What a tosser. Forward, Andy Silva. Andy Silva is the greatest goalscorer in the history of his country, but still makes R11. Why? Because the forward plays for San Marino, the legendarily shit side which is ranked 203rd in the world and has won just 1 game out of 139 internationals they've played. In that time, San Marino have conceded 603 goals and scored just 22, with Silva netting 8 of them. The striker was born in Rome and played almost his entire career in Italy, but never reached Serie A. Recognising his limits, he decided not to try and break into the Italian national team, instead turning out for San Marino, the country of his mother. The tiny nation has around 33,000 inhabitants, enough to fill just over half the Emirates Stadium, so the odds were ever in Silva's favour. He has since gone on to earn 74 caps and captain the team, as well as scoring the winner in that single international victory, a triumph 1-0 over Liechtenstein in 2004. Forward, Lucas Pratto. You must have to be pretty damn decent to play up top for Argentina, right? The Albiceleste have had an insane bounty to pick from Messi, Aguero, Higuain, Tevez, Icardi, Dybala and even Lavezzi. But somehow, Lucas Pratto has 4 caps for his country. And Pratto isn't a youngster with a bright future. The striker is 28 and has played the last 3 years in Brazil, where he has racked a decent but hardly world-class 1 goal every 3 matches. He spent 5 years of his 10-year career on loan, but that didn't stop Edgardo Bauza from calling him up in 2016 and starting him over Eric Lamela and Angel Correa up front. With service from Messi and Di Maria, Pratto has scored twice in his 4 international games. However, we still can't quite see him making the squad for the 2018 World Cup.
So we hope you enjoyed that, and if you want to check out more of our videos, then click here on screen. Don't forget to like and subscribe and get on our Snapchat and our Twitter.